Is Hawaii in a real estate bubble? There are several arguments for a bubble. First is that appreciation in recent years for some homes, especially single family homes, have been in the 200 to 300% range within the last few years. Wages for local people have not kept up with prices of homes. This means there's a widening gap between income and prices. Now, the arguments against a bubble are that many listings are going into multiple offer situations, which are leading to bid ups. This is when the homes are being sold for more than the listing price. Builders can't build new homes fast enough to keep up with demand. Some analysts say that we need 3,500 new homes a year, yet only 1,500 new homes are being constructed. Both local people and investors want a safe investment in their piece of paradise. The military presence with the military allowance supports increasing rents and subsequent increasing sale prices. Also, there are lots of reasons to live here, such as the nice weather, culture, so on. Now let's take a look at the historical prices on Oahu. So this column is for single family homes. In the last 30 years, from 1985 to 2015 or so, single family homes, the median price, have gone up by 341%, or a 4.9% annual increase on average. And for condos, it's 300%, with a 4.6% annual increase, according to the MLS data. This graph shows the change of the price year over year. So we can see that around 1990 there was a sharp spike, around 30% increase. After that there was a drop, but not much below zero. Went back up, another drop, again not too bad of a drop, then went back up. 2005 was another peak, almost 30% increase year over year, dropped, and then recovery from that, and it's pretty close to zero currently. So this graph shows that we're probably not in a bubble. Similar graph for condos. As you can see, there's a spike around to 1990, drop, and another spike around 2005, drop, and recovery. This graphic is from the Honolulu Board of Realtors. So this shows that prices are stable, and even though the median single family price dropped, it's $730, and the median condo price actually went up to $380. Days on market for single family homes is up to 21, and days on market for condos is up to 26. Even though those went up, still pretty low, which indicates a high demand. Now, when is it best to buy real estate on Oahu? From what I've seen, it seems like now, because interest rates have not risen enough to make it unaffordable. A 1% increase in interest rates leads to a 10% overall cost of the mortgage. Most people are unaware of how much they can afford. Some people are paying rent at a similar level to what a mortgage payment would be. Now, the supply is relatively fixed. I mean, we are on an island after all. So this leads to increasing prices. The only large-scale housing development planned for Oahu is Ho'opili, which is planning on adding 11,750 homes in the next 20 years, with prices ranging from $300,000 to $700,000. Here's a map of Ho'opili. As you can see, it's in the Ava Beach area. They're planning on adding several schools. It's going to be near the rail station. It's going to be a big development. Alright, so what keeps supply so low in Oahu? First of all, it's difficult to get approval by the state and the city and county of Honolulu, which means there's actually 2 steps that you need to get approval in order to build something. This leads to a long process, and there are many steps such as pulling permits where your build project can get denied. Also, there are expensive construction costs with the general excise tax built into every transaction on the gross revenue. Now, what about market downturns? Real estate recessions in Hawaii are generally milder than those on the mainland. During the Great Recession of 2008, there were less foreclosures here than the mainland. This shows that borrowers here have more fiscal responsibility, and banks tend to lend conservatively. Also, it's hard to find a 10-year period that a homeowner loses money on Oahu. And while the world economy could weaken, which could drive foreign buyers away. The alternative is that the world economy strengthens and foreigners, especially foreign investors, find that Oahu is a safe place to park wealth. The current market, though, is not that influenced by offshore sources of investment because there are quite a few locals who own here. So what are the options for a median earner on Oahu? Well, if you are in the military, you can get a VA loan, which is 0% down. Or if you're in rural areas such as Eva Beach, you can also get a 0% down USDA loan. And for everyone else, there's the 3.5% down for FHA loans. People are not buying homes they can't afford here, because mortgages, especially conventional mortgages, still need to satisfy bank underwriting requirements such as debt-to-income ratio and so on. So what should people be watching out for? Well, if we see a decline in tourism, that could lead to a downturn, or a decline in global currencies relative to the US dollar. And most importantly, an indicator would be an increase in inventory. Inventory is defined as the amount of time it takes to completely sell out of all the housing stock at the current velocity that homes are selling. As of January 2017, it's 2.4 months. So this graph shows the change of months of inventory for both single-family homes and condos in the last 2 years. So as you can see, it's all pretty low, but it's actually at one of the lowest points in the last 2 years. This shows that there's still a lot of demand and not enough supply to keep up. The last concept will be comparing real estate to other asset classes such as gold, NASDAQ, and oil. So this graph from Macro Trends shows how the asset changes relative to the mean. Each of these sigma symbols means standard deviations. So for the NASDAQ, as you can see in green, it went up. So this was the .com bubble, dropped, and then climbing back up again. For gold, spike here, dropped, spike here, dropped, and recovering. Oil, all-time low, which is why gas prices are relatively cheap now. And real estate in red, a much more gradual climb, but this was the housing bubble of 2005. Big drop and just recovering. This is for national data, so to me, doesn't appear like we're in a real estate bubble. Maybe in other asset classes, but probably not real estate since we're just above the mean right now. Alright, so if you have any buying, selling, or property management needs, please either call or email, or you can also check out my website at 808-realtor.com.